Hello and welcome to the Pondering Possibilities series with Education Elements. I'm Christina Strunk, a senior design principal, and today we're talking all about personalized learning. I'm so excited to be joined by Rose Powell, Chief Information Officer at Bibb County School District, to discuss the possibilities provided by adapting instructional practices to be more student-centered. Rose, we're so glad to have you here. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself and your district?
Absolutely. Thank you, Christina. It's my honor to be here with you today. I am the Chief Information Officer here in the Bibb County School District in Macon, Georgia. I have had vast experience in instructional technology and curriculum and instruction, and I love using technological tools in order to be able to personalize learning for our students and adapt to their needs very quickly using adaptive software. So it is my pleasure to be here with you today to share my experiences in our journey here in Bibb County that has led us to be able to really wrap and embrace personalized learning in our classrooms.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Rose. We're so fortunate to partner with Bibb County on personalized learning, and I think our listeners could really learn a lot from your experience and what it takes to get started on this path. To start off, I'd love to hear a little bit about your district before you started the personalized learning journey. What were some of the indicators that something needed to be done or might need to change?
Absolutely. So the indicators that really allowed me to see that in my role, I needed to bring more professional development and more understanding of how to integrate technology were twofold. First, we had our accreditation process by which the team throughout that process shared that they saw a lot of technology in our classrooms and they saw a lot of use by teachers, but not a lot of use by students. So that was the indicator that, you know what, we've got to be able to help our teachers understand what strategies they can use that will help them be more effective in reaching the students and personalizing their learning, but also making sure that they are utilizing the tools to make their job more effective, efficient, and just easier and working smarter, not harder. And so I started doing school walkthroughs, just looking at how the technology was being used in the classroom and how the classrooms were set up, because that's a big indicator in your school as to how that learning is transitioning from teacher to student. And when I saw a lot of students in rows and just sitting in the classroom, more sit and get than active participation, I knew that we needed to work on personalized learning and we needed to really provide some in-depth knowledge and practices and feedback.
Thanks so much, Rose. I think professional development and thinking about how you can really support teachers and then support students is something that we hear from a lot of our districts. So really excited to see this work in Bibb County. Wanted to also just hear a little bit more about, as you started your work with personalized learning, what were you excited to accomplish and what might you have been nervous or apprehensive about?
The first part, what I was excited to accomplish was more student engagement in their learning process. And that is the key to students mastering the standards and understanding the importance of their work and what they're doing, where they are in their setting of goals. And what I was most excited about was students being more engaged in their own learning process and understanding what we are doing every day in school and why we're doing it. Most nervous and apprehensive would be how the teachers were going to respond. I didn't want them to see this as something additional or something that was a new program, because it's not. The journey that we've been on has been pulling all of the pieces of the puzzle together and making it fit together for a seamless classroom experience for our teachers and our students. And so we worked really hard to make sure and communicate this is nothing new. This is taking all of the tools and resources that our district provides and really modeling how to use those effectively in order to support the teaching and learning process in the classroom.
It sounds like that integration is already happening a lot with thinking about the leader in me and how some of those elements really fit with the core four or some of the principles of personalized learning. So it sounds like you all are already really on that path to making this not feel like one more thing.
Oh, absolutely. What's unique about Bibb County School District is we are a 100% Title I district. We are over 78% minority population. 78% of our student population is African American. And so we are a unique district in that a lot of our students are at risk. And so we have to find those strategies and those best practices to really support their learning and to make sure that we make it relevant. We are very proud to say that all of our schools are a part of the Leader in Me program for schools, and our last cohort is beginning. And that's where it begins, in student ownership and reflection and engagement. And so that is a core four of personalized learning and a core part of the framework with education elements. So it just fit perfectly in our mission and vision. And that means that when we make that correlation for our teachers, that we utilize the tools and the resources that we're already using, and that makes that connection that it's not one more thing.
It's interesting to hear about how you all are really focusing on what you want to be true for learners by the time that they leave Bibb County schools. And I think now you're in your third cohort of schools working with education elements around personalized learning, and would love to hear a little bit about what has gone well so far. What are some of the changes you've already seen in your district after these three cohorts of schools?
I'm so very proud of all of our schools and our team leaders and everyone that's been a part of this journey. I'm very proud of our partners with Education Elements because they've become family throughout this journey with us. And it's just been a great experience. This is my 29th year in education, and this has to be the most rewarding project in implementation that I, as a teacher at heart, have ever been a part of. When I walked the classrooms after the first cohort and I saw the kids in stations in a classroom that they were in rows just 9 months before that, I mean, it brought tears to my eyes because it was a revelation for those classrooms. And I thought, now we're moving. Now we know what we need. Students don't need to sit and get. Students need to be actively participating and owning what they're doing and really engaged in that process. And so I saw those things happening, and the feedback that we were getting from our teachers and our school personalized learning teams, the enthusiasm, the positivity, the embracing, it was so rewarding for everyone involved. It led me to believe this is the right work. I see it happening. I see the difference that it's making, and it's not really going in a different direction. It's going in the right direction.
Rose, as you're sharing, I can hear the heart of the work coming through. And the schools that have gone through this process and the schools that you're working with are just so lucky to have you in their corner. It sounds like there's really amazing work that's happening.
It's all to the teams and the collaboration and the guidance that we have with the implementation process. I couldn't have done this work in the district without the consultants from Education Elements and providing those best strategies. I want to share that I have learned so much of how to be a better leader throughout this process. And everyone that's been a part of the district councils, everyone that has been a part of the foundation phases and the design phases and everything that we've gone through in the coaching academies, Education Elements models the personalized learning through those processes and those meetings and those work sessions that we're always picking up a new strategy in order to model that for our teachers. Because I truly believe that we as leaders must model the strategies within our own work in order for it to have integrity and for it to move forward. And so that's what's so amazing about this is you don't sit and get in this process. We actually participate in the work with our schools and our teachers.
Rose, it means so much to hear that the way that we're designing sessions for you all as leadership teams is really translating into the work that you all want to see in your classroom. So I think that's something really special. Thank you for sharing that. As you're thinking about the work to come, what do you see as the work that is yet to be done in Bibb County with personalized learning?
So we're in our third year in our third cohort, and we have one more cohort beginning in August. The pandemic really threw us for a loop, as it did every district. But this was the best time for us to go through this process. I was worried about, oh, wow, we're in the middle of this. How is this going to work? Well, the pivot that we took on our journey and the guidance from Education Elements on how to really support remote learning and move virtual learning in the right direction. And that has just really helped us have a vision for how we want to move forward as a district. And so I'm most excited about what it's going to look like in the future and how that is going to transition into our virtual academies and students having access to ask questions to teachers at any time. They don't have to raise their hand in the classroom and be, on the stage asking a question that they're kind of fearful of asking. They know they have that pipeline now. And so they feel more connected to what's happening. And I'm just really, really excited about what the future holds and how we're going to be able to take this foundation and continue moving it forward.
It sounds like there's so many learning opportunities that you've had throughout the first 3 cohorts, and it's really exciting to think about what's going to be true by the end of the 4th cohort's experience in Bibb County. As we think about this last question, I want to think about districts outside of Bibb County who might be thinking about personalized learning themselves. What advice would you give to another district who is ready to begin the personalized learning journey themselves?
What I would share with the school districts embarking on this is really do your research. It's great to have a third-party consultant that is an expert in personalized learning, such as Education Elements, because we at the district are doing so much. And we get so pulled in so many different directions that it's difficult to stay focused on the work that is as important as this work is. And so having that focus, the guidance is very important, and start small. We started with 3 schools, and our vision was not, okay, this is going to be a district-wide initiative in the first year. That can't happen. We have to start small, and we have to let the schools know they have to start small. Pick the smallest, most important changes that you can make that make the biggest impact for the students. And start with your teacher champions, your teacher leaders, the ones that will actually really take it. Because as educators who have been in schools and who have seen professional development, the best professional development is watching what the teacher's being successful with next door. And so we have to keep that in mind, that it's not going to happen overnight for all of our teachers. But if we just get those teacher leaders really embedded and embracing, and they're doing the work because they're the ones that just really see the importance of the strategies, it's going to fuel the rest of the building. And it has to become a culture for it to be successful.
Rose, it's been such a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you for having me.
If our listeners want to find out more about you and your district, check out @BibbSchools on Twitter. Speaking of learning more, you can find out even more about our approach to personalized learning by clicking into the resources in the show notes. There, you'll find lots of information, including a breakdown of the essential elements of personalized learning. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Be sure to check out other episodes in this series to learn more about how Education Elements has been working with districts across the country to create more equitable, responsive, and student-centered organizations, teams, and classrooms. Take care, be well, and happy learning.